Hi, everyone, and happy February to you. I hope you're doing well. So, I was reflecting on, what I was going to share with you for this month in my newsletter that now turns out to be a video. And it's just a nice way because it's a better way of connecting personally with you than just through the written word. And so many of you got back to me after the video for January and that you really liked it, and that you felt more connected to it in ways. So I hope this is going to connect you in that same way with love, and maybe some of this guidance or the reflection I'm going to share will help you. So as I was reflecting on it and I was thinking back to the start of this year and of January in particular, and January is a very long month, and I know a lot of people could feel, the length of it. And after Christmas, and sometimes can be a little bit of a calm down, the darker evenings, and just that, I don't know, that hibernation, And I laughed because I went out with friends one night, and it was like coming out of hibernation. And I think we need that. I think we need that after, especially in those dark evenings and those expectations, as I spoke about, to let them go in January at the start of the year. And here we are coming into the spring and the 1st of February, and the evenings are getting a bit longer. And I thought about, a lot of us don't find our feet in January at the start of the year. We're kind of still tripping over each other, trying to get back into a routine, you know, everything is going back to normal. And I thought, you know what, I've kind of started finding my feet as I'm coming up to February. So I thought maybe that would be a good theme for this month is finding your feet in February. So what do I mean by finding your feet? Well, again, I think we have a lot of those expectations in the new year, and a lot of people making resolutions and they want to lose weight and eat better and do all of those things. But we punish ourselves or put pressure on ourselves if we don't do it, and we see everyone else and they're doing it, we think, but they're sharing, the best of themselves in that moment. And I always say we can only do the best we can each day. So for myself, and I hope maybe this can help you, when you're finding your feet, first you have to find out where you want to plant your feet, where you want your feet to direct you to go. And that again always comes back to the self-awareness of where we are right now in our lives. So everybody is different. It doesn't matter if you're the same age as somebody else, you live in the same area, you do the same hobbies or interests, you'll have a different perspective on how that makes you feel. So every experience that we're involved in, whether it is in our relationships, our work, our hobbies, our play, our friends, it's again about how that experience makes you feel. And this is something I've kind of reflected on in the past few weeks, maybe the last year really, is what relationships in particular, what I'm feeling from each of them. And I only said this to a really good friend of mine on the phone the other day. And we were talking about how friendships and relationships change as we get older and we grow, we're growing in different ways and different experiences. What are you getting from the relationships in your life right now? Like, who is nourishing you and cherishing you and cheering you on and encouraging you in so many different ways? Because if we don't have that in our families and in our circles, we feel undervalued or not appreciated. Now, it's not up to those people to give us that, that we're valued and that we're appreciated. We must do it for ourselves. So, in finding your feet, finding my feet, it's learning about what is right for me now. And I kept getting this kind of thought in my head, the last week in particular is like finding my feet in my 50s. Like, so many things have changed over the years. As you all know, my kids are now adult kids and they found their feet and they're living, independently of us, myself and John, and they have their own finances and they're figuring the world out for themselves. So where does that leave us? Who are we now as parents? That role has changed. And again, if you don't have children or you're not in a relationship, maybe other things have changed for you in your life. So where are you right now? So one of the things that I do every morning, and I spoke about it on my podcast with Aldo 2 weeks ago, was every morning I go out and look at a tree that I planted many years ago. And I see how this tree has grown into this magnificent tree. There's no leaves on it right now, but it still looks magnificent. So without this, foliage of leaves and that bright color green, the tree still looks really strong and grounded, and it's still growing. Even if we can't see it, underneath, there's lots of things going on that we can't see. And it's nourishing that tree all the way up to the tips of the branches. And those new buds are going to start coming out, and it's going to start flourishing again coming into the spring. So as I thought about that for myself, I thought if we were the tree, if you could imagine yourself, look at a tree outside in your garden or the next time you're going for a walk, and think about yourself as the trunk of that tree, how strong you are within yourself, just standing, not doing anything, not being anything, just as you are right now. How strong do you feel inside? What are your strengths? Can you stand tall just on your own as you are, without your titles and labels on what you do and who you're married to or who you're going out with or who your kids are? Can you just be strong within yourself and to look within, I suppose, and just see what's going on for you right now? And again, remember, it's always about just valuing, understanding, being aware of what you feel in that moment, and knowing that that could change in an hour or in a day or in a month or in a week or in a year, but it's just understanding who you are right now. And when we do that, just sitting with ourselves or standing tall like that tree, how do I feel about myself? And it's not just about the physical body, because yes, sometimes we want to make improvements on those. But remember, I speak about the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. So physically, how do you feel about your body right now? And again, we're not judging or criticizing it, but maybe there's areas, I know my ass and my belly could do with, a little toning up here and there. But I'm not giving out about it, but I'm just aware of it. And then mentally, what are my thoughts and energy going into on a daily basis? But even just right now in this moment, if you stop, like, what are you thinking about? And it's not about thinking good or positive thoughts all the time, but are you thinking good about yourself? Even if you don't feel great about your body, are you still saying, you know what, but there's parts of me that I do love. There's other parts that I have to improve, about your life right now. Are you thinking, that I'm not in a good place, I'm in a rut, I'm stuck? Or are you balancing it out by saying, I know this is the way it is at the moment, but I'm making or creating steps to change it? And even if you haven't been thinking that, well, what is one step that you could take to changing something about how you're thinking about yourself? So then we move on to the emotional. So when our thoughts connect with our emotion, this becomes our behaviors and then our beliefs and our patterns. So my thoughts may be creating a negative energy within me and around me and in my life. And sometimes we can get stuck in that. So how do I feel about myself? How do I feel about my experience in this present moment in my life? Do I feel good? Do I feel good about the people around me? Am I creating space for myself to feel good? Because remember, we can get caught up in that pattern of feeling bad about everything around us. And then that thought becomes a little bit more overwhelming. And then we feel really bad about ourselves. So it's just little steps, just being aware, remember that, what's going on for you right now. And we come on to the spiritual. So what are your values? What do you value most in life right now? And I think if you come to your values and you say, well, do I value myself? Do I value and appreciate who I am at this moment? Do I value the people around me that respect me, that appreciate me? Or am I looking to the people that are, you think they're important, but they're not really important in the big scheme of things, that they're not really contributing to your life in any way? Are you putting too much value into those? Are you putting too much value into the lack of what you have instead of what you actually have right now? So what are your values? So my values, give you an example, would be my family. It would be my friendships. Definitely my work, because my work, I put so much of myself into my work. I have to value myself so that I can give back to all of you. So there's certain aspects of myself that I really value. And then there's other aspects that I don't. So I know for myself that I would like to be more, maybe energetic in my physical activities, and maybe finding things that not only about getting active, but also enjoying the experience. Like when I used to go hiking quite a lot and doing the Camino, that has changed. And that's something that I've noticed and I'm aware of. So I have to take steps to create that change to be positive again for me so that I will feel better in the experiences that I'm creating. So I hope that makes sense to you. So again, we come back to the tree. So I am the trunk of the tree. How do I feel about myself? Can I stand strong and tall? And then we look to the branches. So those branches spread out near and far. Some reach up to the sky. Those branches can be the connections, the people that we are connected to. Some of them are really strong connections, like the strong branches. Some of them are not so strong and they could break easily. And again, it's which ones do we nourish and which ones do we focus on and which ones do we want growth from. So think about the connections in your life, the people that help you being strong in yourself, you strong connections, strong relationships too. It can also be the strength in your community, in your careers. Your careers could be going upwards. Maybe it's your own awareness, but just think about what those branches could mean to you. You know, I don't want to put it into my words, but this is the way I look at it. And a lot of the time, the branches to me are where I am growing to and from. So we're all growing from here, this core, this heart, this soul of beautiful soul of ours. So how strong do you feel inside yourself and about yourself? And when we have that strength, we're obviously going to grow bigger and stronger branches, and we're going to let them spread out either side and straight up, and just allowing them to grow and flourish in a natural direction, not by forcing one or the other, but by giving the energy to what we want to grow, where we want it to grow. But again, we must come back here to us. What is it I want right now? Who am I right now? How do I feel about myself? And what are the strongest connections that I am giving energy to? I hope that makes sense to everyone. But above all of that, if we look underneath the trunk and we move down into the roots, the foundations of who we are, and some of those roots may have come from really good places, really good families, really good experiences. And some of those roots may have come from not so good experiences, but you've still grown from them. You know, they're still there. The roots are still underneath everything else. But again, they may not be strong. They may be a little bit damaged. But again, we go back into them. And again, you think about what we water and nourish, if it was a plant, a physical tree, whatever it is, vegetables growing in the garden, we have to water and feed them. So again, what are we feeding our past? What are we feeding underneath the surface of who we are? Are we feeding into the past negative thoughts about our experiences, or are we feeding into the strong, loving, supportive roots that we may have grown and built ourselves in this life? So think about, again, what you feed and nourish within yourself, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And as you stand there and think of yourself as a tree, how strong are you? What type of a tree would you be? Is there a lot of branches on your tree? Where do those branches come from? What grows on those branches? What grows from them? The same as what grows from your relationships, your connections, your careers, your hobbies, your future goals and dreams. You know, so keep it simple. And for me, connecting to nature is a way of really standing still and being aware of myself, being aware of where I am right now. I'm very natural today, as you can see. I'm embracing my curly, mad, wavy hair. And I decided just to let it dry naturally today. Went for breakfast with my son, who's my eldest son, who's 23 tomorrow. And he just looked and went, "You want to brush your hair, Mom?" And I said, "No, that's just my hair." So sometimes it's just allowing yourself to be natural, allowing yourself to be who you are without worrying what other people think of you, because it all comes back to accepting yourself, who you are in this moment, because it's changing from moment to moment, depending on our thoughts, feelings, and experiences within this day. So I hope that helps you finding your feet in February, and that you'll help yourself to feel more grounded in who you are right now, and what direction you want to point your feet in. And if you don't know what direction you want to point your feet in, that's okay. Because the more that we work within ourselves, again, the more awareness, the more we come back in here to ourselves and understand what's going on for us, our direction will just simply open up in front of us. Our energy will naturally point our feet in the direction that is bringing us to a place of joy and fulfillment within ourselves and our lives. Sometimes we have to take that next step. But maybe just finding your feet this February is standing still for a moment and just being yourself, accepting yourself, who you are right now. And that's okay. And accepting that, or learning to be more loving and kinder and compassionate to yourself, even if you're not where you want to be, but that you will love yourself no matter what. And that you, by loving yourself, by understanding yourself, that will change the energy within you and all around you. So let me know how you get on finding your feet in February. And to help you along, I have a chakra awareness visualization, free meditation. It'll be linked underneath that you can use. So again, maybe you've done work with your energies and your chakras before. And even if you have, that's okay. Come back again. As I said, come back to basics, come back to the simplicity of life and go in and see how your energy is now. And for anyone that hasn't worked with their chakras before, it's an introduction to, our energy system and what colors the chakras are and what they connect to. And I think it's only about 25 minutes long. So it's a good visualization to do, and it helps you be present. It helps you allow yourself to feel and just see what thoughts are coming around, what emotions are coming up around each of those chakras, and how you can energize yourself and help to let go and to release. So that might be a good daily or weekly exercise for you to do. It's a free meditation. There's lots of them on. You'll see when I send you the link. Use them as freely and often as you like. Share them with people if you think it can help them. So that's just a little thing to help you out. And a little bit of news for you now. So you all know that I've been going for the last 12 years to the Bog Hill Centre and bringing groups for retreat weekends. And it has been an amazing journey. We have so many cherished memories. I've invited lots of facilitators over the years to join me. I've had people from all over the world as participants, and I have met some of the most amazing, courageous and strong people that came in a very vulnerable state at times. They may have been grieving, breakup relationships, just lost in direction of where they are in their lives. And some of them have come on their own. They haven't come with a friend or a family member. They've come by themselves just to see, can they reconnect to who they are. So this will be my last weekend retreat in the Bog Hill Centre. A little bit of sadness, but most of all, very grateful that we had the space to create these wonderful weekend retreats for all of you people that have joined us and all the ones that are coming for our last retreat on the 24th to the 26th of February. So if you've been there before with me, please share a little memory. I'd love to hear. And if you'd still like to join us, there are places available for our last ever Bog Hill retreat. It's going to be a special one. And I have Nora Coyne co-facilitating with me, and Nora will be doing her beautiful sound bath healings. You lay down and let the sound vibrate through your energy. It's a wonderful experience. And again, we have Sinead Lysantri coming, and she's going to be doing, the fire ceremony and the fire walk, which is just amazing. I've done it twice. I'm telling you, it is transformative. It's just letting go of all those limiting beliefs about yourself. I'll be working with you again energetically to help you reconnect to yourself under all those layers of patterns and beliefs, of being stuck or wanting something different. And we'll have lots of laughs along the way, and hopefully a few songs in the evening, just have a bit of fun by the fireside. Very informal, but lots of love and support and lots of healing. So that's the end of February. There is a few other upcoming events. I'm online with Concepta McNamara on the 14th of February online. And Concepta is living in the USA, originally from Ireland. And she's invited me to co-facilitate her Anam Cara series, The Power of Connection, for 6 weeks. And it's online. You can check it out. As I said, I'll put the links below. I'll have my level 1 Reiki and Seikim certificate training on the 11th and 12th of February. And I think there's 1 or 2 places left for that. That's in person and it's in Toontown, County Galway. And I've just had an amazing start to the year in the fact of connecting, because I'm all about the connection. And I've had amazing guests on my podcast in 2023 so far. Jessica Kenny came on of Seal Realta. She spoke about losing her partner tragically in a work accident. They were 7 years together and how that affected her life. So she spoke on the podcast very openly. Then I had Aldo Jordan from the Irish Shamanic School, and he spoke about his journey, and he was suffering with addiction and how he had a near-death experience and how he found shamanism. And now he's teaching it to everybody else. A great conversation, a real soulful conversation. And last week I had the lovely Helen Kelly, who spoke about her anxiety and depression, ending up in hospital, being so unwell, and her journey through healing now, her brother passing, and all of the things that she has learned along the way. So beautiful conversations. If you haven't listened to the podcast, start anywhere, start from now or go back. I am again blessed to have all these wonderful guests sharing their stories. And remember, every guest I learn something from. So I'm sure maybe you can learn something from them as well. Because again, it's taking that courage to say where they were and where they are now and how they got there. Because we think when we're stuck in that awful place that we'll never get out of it. And if we can, you can too. Or someone you know may be able to give them a little step forward to helping themselves. So that is all the news I have for you for February. The Holistic Healing and Happiness community is growing so beautifully. And we have our monthly meditations online. It's a private community. And last week, I guided the group into connecting with their spiritual guides. And then we always have a guest speaker each month. So we had Bronya West, who was helping us and all the participants with our psychic awareness and connecting to that awareness. Then we had Nora Coyne, who was teaching people about tarot, history, and insights, and gave us all a lovely reading and a group reading that was beautiful. And Helen Kelly, who was my guest, is also going to come on as our monthly guest speaker for February. And she's going to be talking about reflexology and the benefits of it, hand and foot reflexology. So if you're interested in joining us, as I said, it's only €8 a month, and it's a monthly connection, monthly meditation, monthly guest speaker, and you can share what you want on the group as well, any little insights. And it's just a beautiful group. You know, it's online through Zoom. I know many people say, well, I don't like online. It's connection. Stop thinking about online. You're texting all the time. You're commenting. You're looking at your social media. That's online, but you're not speaking to somebody directly. In our group, you're all connecting. So just think about connecting to yourselves and connecting to others. When we connect to others, we're present, we're listening, we're focusing, and we're able to share with each other. That is the power of connection for me. And as I said, everything, my retreats, these newsletters, these video newsletters, my workshops, the Reiki, everything, it's all about connecting to ourselves so we can connect to others better. But mostly connecting in your own life right now to what feels right for you and what brings you joy. So thank you everybody for listening again. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful February, and I look forward to connecting with you all very soon. Take care, everyone, and thanks a million for listening. Bye.